Hello, everybody. My name is Ulfgarður, and welcome back to Yvardsaga. Hold on. Okay. Sorry if that was a little loud. My mic was picking up a little sensitive. So, it's tradition. Yes, that's true, Bogue. It is unfortunately true that the Zomboid jump scare is a tradition. But it's good to see you, my friend. I hope, my dude, you can't be. Come on. You, this early? This early? With a blizzard outside? Are you kidding me, man? It's rude. Very rude. Yeah, fair enough. It is also tradition. Uh, but yeah, welcome back. I've been excited and looking forward to continuing with the sessions, um, to continue our exploration of this temple. Oh, yes, Avatrox, I most certainly can. I changed one thing. Did that help? I know there's a bit of a delay, so sorry, but I want to get sound settings right for you guys because I can't hear them in here. For some reason, OBS doesn't let me hear like the monitor feedback of what the channel's producing during stream. It's supposed to. It just, for whatever reason, doesn't work for me. So, yeah, I tweaked one thing, so I want to see if that helps us sound a little better. I'm working in this blizzard. I was working when it started, and I'll be working when the blizzard ends. Yeah, that sounds about right for you, Bogue. Who else would be absolutely wild and crazy enough to do that? It's you. It's absolutely you, and we know this. Um, but yes, so if the sound sounds better or if it's too much, please let me know as things go on. Built different. Bogue, I 100% will agree with you. You are certainly built different, even if it is out of spare parts made for other models. And I say that with all the love in my heart. um, hell yeah, hell yeah, um, yeah, hell yeah, autism. That's the phrase everybody was expecting to hear tonight, right? We are we are a friendly community who uh we we get it. We get it. A fair few of us in this community formally and officially have autism. I've been told for me it would be borderline impossible to diagnose at this stage of my life because of the way my ADHD manifests, because they're related things, but there are distinctions. But my mental health care team has told me they're very confident that I am somewhere on the spectrum, which helps understand a few things. So that's fun. Uh, that is what it is. I wasn't planning on mentioning that, but hell yeah, autism. So we're there. Um, but back on track, I have tweaked sound settings. Please let me know if they need adjusting as stream goes on. I will try to keep a more constant watch on chat, if only to see your messages and tweak the settings, if not, respond directly. But to recap, last time our friends made it to the temple and the ruins they've been directed to where they believe the artifact in a locked case that they're looking for resides. They're deep underground. They passed through the crystal lake, which is not actually any water at all, but it's just a big cavern full of crystals. And they made it to this ancient temple that the front door was collapsed. There are ruins, the all that good stuff, except for certain parts of it. Certain parts of it are still oddly well preserved and don't even have dust in them. And so they've been poking around slowly. They have learned that the temple, when it was functioning, was dedicated to an ancient death god named Jurgle. And they've been trying to figure out what else they might find. Um, Cole has discovered the magic knife he found earlier on in the ruins underneath Darbiton. Uh, the magic knife he found is a very old specific kind of knife from a particular region in the world, but it was used by masons and stonecutters, and it cuts through stone as if through flesh. So like he's been experimenting with, well, will it cut gemstones? Will it cut crystals? So it has uses and limitations, but by and large, that's what it does. So they've already made some use of that. ADHD havers rise up. Hell yeah, Bogue. Woo! Um, Nemo has used comprehend languages, and the effect of that is still running. So despite the fact that all of the texts in here are in an ancient language that none of these people speak, Nemo can read and understand them just fine. So she's been making good use of that information and using the Owlin historian that's traveling with them as kind of a fount of knowledge. There was a lot of lore dropped in the last session, so I wouldn't be too surprised if there's quite a bit more to be had while we're in this ruins complex, but I expect things will not be quite so much just lore drop. Though I enjoy doing that, I want to make sure that there's some more interesting and exciting stuff for you guys. Um, so that's going to be going on. But I mentioned that because we stopped in the middle of a scene last time. So this is what's going on is they're looking through what they think might kind of be an old treasury or like safe room, but it doesn't have a lot in it. One of the few things it has in it is a nice ornate wooden table that has an egg on top of it, like a big egg. So naturally, a Yejier is excited. This egg has a big crack in it, and it has particular features about it that I'm going to attempt to redescribe because I did kind of a bad job of it last time, I think. And I think I know a slightly better way to do it, just to give you a picture. I missed the lore drop. That's okay, Bogue. You know where you can find the reruns. You go to YouTube. They're all there. They're in a playlist in order, just in case you missed something. I know you know that, Bogue. That's my shameless plug for the YouTube archives if people watching this later want to go check. You're supposed to do that when you stream, plug your socials, plug your other channels, all that good stuff. Like, subscribe. Apparently I'm a pro streamer now. That's all it takes. But yes, a Yejier is going to touch an egg, and we'll see where that goes. Okay, let me make sure we're seeing everything. Okay, we're seeing everything vaguely correct. Vaguely correct.
He
It's
doesn't
weird that we're
remember
both
most of
awake
it.
at the same time.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
it's so strange. Hello?
Hello.
Well, hello.
My computer was turned up super loud as I jumped back in and undeafened myself.
Oh,
hello.
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 Welcome back, friends. I have been very excited. I've been working hard at making sure I had all my ducks in a row. Also, making sure I have the stuff ahead of you in this temple complex fleshed out in the level of detail that I find acceptable to be comfortable with, which I know for most people that would probably be considered extra. But I've been working on it anyway, so if my brain's a
I
little
would
scattered, that's okay.
like to point out the entire time I was doing work from home, he was also doing work from home on this.
Yes, and I
A full 8-hour day.
and I only was working on a couple specific things. Like, yes, I got distracted a few times, but some of it was research related.
And some of it was preparing eggs and mushrooms for Pez to look at in agonizing detail.
Yes.
Yeah, his headset died.
Oh no.
Ah!
No, you were talking and now you're not.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me take a look at this.
It was mid-sentence.
Yes.
It's okay. Thank you. I have something for this.
Oh. You're back again.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
He leaned forward and he came back.
I know what it was. It was the multi plug-in thing. I think I bumped it and it came loose. The plug is a little
That
loose.
makes sense.
Okay, so last time, a Yejier was going to touch an egg. I trust you, the players, remember more or less what you were doing in this room. Besides the egg, Shoko is nerding out over the wealth of books in here. I say the wealth. There were a handful of books that weren't ruined by time. Um, but she's still clearly just having a blast. This is like her dream, apparently. Uh, before we continue with the egg, I want to attempt to re-describe it in a way that makes more sense, because I don't think I did a very good job last time.
Not to mention I am far more awake now.
Fair. Yeah, part of it was my description was not very effective for the person playing the character interested in the egg. So with this egg, imagine like maybe a foot tall, slightly more cylindrical than normal, like even cylinder than normal, but still kind of flares out egg shape. And then, ignoring egg for a second, think of Jurassic Park. Think of Dilophosaurus with those crests on its head. Now, those bony crests that it has, imagine like a row or like a crest like that that's only maybe like an inch and a half tall. And put that in an X on the bottom of the egg so that that crest goes about halfway up to the other end. And it's like sitting on that X of crests because it's level enough that it has its own built-in stand. And then it's got a pretty decent crack from the top going down one side. Did that make any more sense?
I'm awake enough for that to have made more sense.
Excellent. Love to see it.
So, you could have described that frill or the crest in a lot of different ways. Going to the Dilophosaurus was a choice.
Because he's a dino nerd.
It follows the contour of the head and is like has like the thickness I think of when I envision this egg. So for me, that was the best I could do.
It's
Okay.
filled with acid. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's filled with sticky poisonous tar. It's fine.
Oh, so this is a Jurassic Park AU egg and not an authentic Dilophosaurus type egg. I see.
Pretty much, yeah.
You could make an insight check if you want. No, but so Ayajiye.
Before I touch egg, I'm smarter today
Okay.
than I was a week ago.
Mm,
Hand gets close to egg, pauses, looks to Nemo and Shoko, who have been reading, or at least looking at books. And is there anything in those about this egg?
Fair point. Fair point.
Even if the answer's no, I'm touching the egg. I've made my decision here, unless there's an answer to stop me.
Things have been set in motion that cannot be undone.
Pretty much. No, I don't think. No, Nemo has not.
Correct. Yeah, Nemo, you have not seen anything in there mentioning an egg like this, or really probably, quite possibly, no mention of eggs at all.
Nemo
shrugs
doesn't
and
even
shakes
know what
her
an
head.
egg is.
Yeah, right. But sorry, what were you saying, Rad?
Oh, she like shrugs and shakes her head. No. Like, no idea.
Glance to Shoko.
Shoko confirms. She doesn't say anything, but she's like beak deep in a book and just shakes her head and keeps reading.
Also, I'm slightly distracted. Did I touch these blue mushrooms that are behind Nemo? Did I fuss with mushrooms of that sort?
Yes.
Or are they not
Yes,
supposed
you
to
did.
be on this side of the wall?
No, they are, and you did. Those are
Okay.
the same ones you found in the foyer. That
Okay.
working title for your inventory was Onyx Cap.
Yeah, I just hadn't. Excuse me. Blah, 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 blah. remembered seeing them last time.
Mm.
But yeah, since I've not been told that the egg is immediately going to kill me, I'm going to gently touch egg.
Okay.
He's typing. I don't like that.
Putting a question in chat about sound. Just
Now
so
he's gonna send you something.
yeah.
Whisper about the egg.
No.
And now he's just gonna roll a couple dice.
7d20 later.
Excuse me. I'm the DM and I'm nervous about the contextless dice rolling.
No, I was imitating you.
Yeah, fair. And
That's why they're D100s.
that's fair. I do absolutely try to mimic when I make a roll on here that doesn't have all the info attached. I absolutely do try and mimic the mysterious GM rolling a dice unprompted behind the screen.
Which
That
is appreciated.
every single time. That's a part of the in-person tabletop experience I want to be able to preserve here. But anyway, Yajaye, you touch the egg. Like you gently touch it, you grab it, you poke
Yeah.
it.
Gentle plap. Hand on top of egg, like
Plap.
you would touch the head of a child.
Okay.
I was legitimately thinking soft spot on a baby. So yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know why I thought it was
Gentle
like,
plap.
are you gonna touch the top of a light bulb?
It's an egg.
And it hasn't killed me.
Correct. From what you can tell of the shell and the crack, the shell surprise seems like it's aged, but not like if it was aged past a point, it would be dust. Um, and the crack doesn't seem like it's compromising the integrity of the shell. You've seen cracks like this when you've been making your painted eggs. It's very likely that the inner membrane that actually can like protects all the things important to whatever's in there that may have still been intact after this damage happened. But it feels like a decently thick and sturdy shell. Like you don't feel like just by gently tapping it you're going to make the crack worse or do anything else. But no giant boulders fall out of the ceiling, no floors drop out from under anybody's feet, no explosions happen. You touched an egg on a fancy table.
Second hand on egg. I'm going to try to see if like I can get a feel without picking it up yet. For like what the shell feels like. Like, is it actually just hard eggshell? Does it feel kind of thick? Like I'm not gonna crush it, but I'm just like maybe some finger drumming, tapping, try to determine thickness and if there's still stuff inside this egg because I can't see the bottom, so it could have a hole.
It's true. Yeah,
Emptied and mended back together.
yeah.
Sell dragon eggs.
Unless you want to attempt a different roll, you would have to persuade me. I would say that sounds like a perception check to me. Looking for subtle stimulus clues.
Maybe you should
Debating
sniff
on if
it.
I want to. As I say, debating on if I want to argue something else.
You can if you want. But Red, you were saying?
Oh, Nemo's gonna ask Ayosha. Maybe you should sniff it.
I mean, it's not a bad idea. If it were rotten, though, we'd already smell it. So I was thinking, Ayejie is going off of her like past knowledge of egg,
Okay.
directly trying to compare it to things like chicken egg versus soar egg versus turtle egg versus like snake egg. I don't think she messes
Okay.
with frog or fish eggs.
Probably not.
So
No.
like, I was thinking like, I'm not sure if that'd be history per se, or like nature. To be like, I know eggs.
That sounds like a
This is an
nature check to me because you're referring to like something ecological related, but like specific knowledge and comparison between known things to infer something else, which sounds like an intelligence-based check about nature to me.
Yeah, because I'm more trying to compare this egg to other things rather than just stare intensely at egg.
Okay. Yeah.
At this time, at least. I'm still gonna roll like a 2, but that's okay. Oh, I did not roll a 2.
Hey, look at that. Nice. That's a good start.
30-20.
So, it takes you a little bit to find anything that really is even remotely similar. The particularly the crests, you'd never seen or heard of anything like that before, but that's not a big surprise. As far as what else you're able to find that it would compare to, um, it's it's not soft shelled in any capacity like some eggs can be, like snake or turtle eggs can be. I think it's snake and turtle eggs can be soft shelled. Um, but it's it's pretty rigid, but also there's a particular quality to the shell that you notice is definitely different than pretty much any egg you can remember working with. Where there's definitely as as somebody with the experience you have, not just in this egg painting and processing these things, but making the paints and the materials yourself, dealing with a little bit of chemistry involved with that. The the makeup of the egg, you realize, isn't entirely just a regular calcium shell. Whether you would know the word calcium, I don't actually know. I haven't figured out chemistry in Evard because I don't know chemistry. Uh, but you that's what Possum's here for. Possum's a chemist, and Pez is a pretty good chemist.
We
No,
can
that was
talk
my worst
about this
one.
off stream because I don't know if everyone's gonna want to dive into this.
But more or less, it has qualities that you are able to kind of figure out. It must have some other mineral in the shell that is playing well and bolstering the thickness of the thing. Like if you tried, you could absolutely still crush this, but it has an unusually thick shell. And you notice around the crack, ever so slightly, there is a tiny, tiny bit of residue, as if something did kind of leak out and slowly drip down, but didn't run all the way to the bottom. You're able to figure out where it ended, and it's just a tiny white residue on a slightly darker, not white shade of eggshell. I say not white. The thing's more of like a sand color, like a pale sand, because everything in this place that's old is roughly that color. Um, but it does look like something was kind of creeping out and then dehydrated and left a residue.
And can I tell if there's anything still in this egg? From my taps.
It is.
Pop, pop, pop.
It feels full. It does not feel or sounds like an empty shell. And when you actually interact by like running your finger over the crack, you realize that whatever that residue was that you spotted, which was hard to spot, you barely noticed, um, that effectively sealed up the crack.
I pick up this egg. I can't not pick up this egg. I'm picking up this egg.
Okay. You have a mysterious ridged egg.
This egg's going in my bag. I'm putting an egg. I'm stealing this egg.
Yeah,
It's mine now.
fair. I
So
mean,
when the capital T temple mother comes back to find it's her egg stolen, she's gonna chase you down.
Nah, that's fine.
I feel like she's got bigger things to be concerned about if she comes back and finds everything here the way it is than one missing egg.
I'm
Wait.
just imagining the temple itself stands up and just starts chasing.
Duh.
But so uh, Yeshe has gotten her egg.
Yeah.
Um, Cole
It's
is going.
being wrapped in a blanket and gently put in the bag of holding.
Yep. Cole feels pretty satisfied with this room's search, so he's gonna head back out front and then wanna hug around the other side to go investigate the other room they haven't looked at.
Nemo,
Um,
I guess all of you would notice, but particularly this would stand out to Nemo, I think. You notice Ron looking at like the readable materials on this writing station back in this room.
oh shit! I forgot. He can probably read it.
He absolutely can. Yeah, as an Earth Genasi, he can inherently read Terran, and that's the language all this stuff is in. So he's just kind of waiting around for you guys to come back out, reading some of the dusty old things Nemo had to use a spell to read.
Uh,
And he's like, he probably would have never mentioned it if it wasn't like a thing that somebody needed to have happen. Like, I don't know, I can just read it.
yeah, I told him. Uh, so like as they're leaving the room, Nemo asked him like, did he find anything interesting?
No, it's a lot of numbers. The next room doesn't have much, but I didn't go past the next room. The next room, it's got two doors moving forward, but one of them's collapsed in. We could try and clear it, but it'd be hard and it would take a while.
Oh, it's a good thing we have somebody who has a special knife.
Oh yeah, that's true. I suppose that might work.
His special brand knife.
It's my special. It's my brand. Then use your special knife to open this. My brand.
Okay. As you enter this room, so for in my notes, all of these rooms, I have like the things you guys would notice. So if you're entering a new space, uh, I, I'll try
Pause.
and mention those things to you as quickly as I can, so that you don't see something on the map and be like, "What the fuck is that?" and just be left wondering. Um, so in this room, there's not a ton. The in like the upper left hand corner, there's all this wood stuff covered in cobwebs, and those are the remains of four different bunk beds. Like these were wood bed frames that have since collapsed underneath some of the stone architecture falling apart onto them, and just the wood rotting away with time. Same with this right here is just an old faded dead wardrobe that has nothing in it. The hinges are barely in there technically at all. You could probably pull them out by hand. Um, there is yes. There's the archway to the one room, which is blocked by the collapsed masonry. You guys could deal with that if you want, or there's another door moving south of the room. Um, but also in this room, there are a couple of ruined paintings. Uh, one of them is on the wall above an old beat up dining table, which is down in the bottom right corner down here. This brown strip on the wall is actually a painting that's still mounted. And then back here in the corner, Nemo, you notice that the painting in there is busted up and worthless, but the frame it's in is actually really nice and in good shape. Like it's if it's made of wood, it probably has. It looks like it might be gilded, maybe not with gold, but with some sort of nice metal, but has been cared for in a way that would definitely like rot or tarnish slower than like the other painting that's still trying to hang up. But given your professional experience, you would know that's probably something you could move decently.
Yeah.
But you'd just have to clear the nasty old canvas out of it, which wouldn't be bad. It would need a little bit of touch up, but you've probably had to do far worse for less money than this you estimate this would give you.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
but it is decently big. Like it is a proper like big painting on the wall frame. So like you probably couldn't fit it into a bag of holding.
God damn it.
Like it's about as wide as probably Cole's shoulders. Between probably not as broad as the Yegie's, but like Cole or Ron, about as wide as their shoulders.
Nemo's sizing them up. They're like, whose back can I put this on?
I'll let you guess which one has a higher strength stat.
And is it heavy?
It weighs about 10 pounds. So it's pretty heavy. Like it's almost certainly not 100% gold. Like if it was, it would not be 10 pounds. It would be way worse. But it's got some nice money making weight to it. Whatever it's made out of, it's not skimped.
Just gonna take the frame down.
Okay. Yeah.
There's nothing behind it.
Nope.
Cool.
Just the wall.
Cool. Just gonna prop it against the wall. So can we take this on the way out? I can't carry this. I'm too small.
Yegie will vague shrug.
Okay.
If I'm not carrying one of you out, I can take it.
That's a very ominous thing to say, Rob.
My main job is to protect you, so if I've done my job right, that won't be the case. If I've done my job kind of bad, that'll be the case. If I've done my job real bad, we won't have to worry about coming back for it at all. Just trying to keep expectations realistic.
And then she looks over to like Cole, and then like Infernal, we need to find him alcohol. He's getting grumpy again.
Cole's gonna respond. I appreciate the honesty, though.
Yeah, he's starting to become a little hurtful.
Not from where I'm standing. That's an honest man with realistic expectations. I respect it.
Let's just be on the lookout for wine. I don't know if these still be any.
Might be vinegar, unless it's sealed up really well. But you never know. It is a temple. A lot of temples
Nemo
keep
doesn't know
alcohol
this
around.
The thing Cole likes best about Ron is that he's not a caster.
I
Hey,
hate
now,
I hate how
that's
true that
accurate.
is.
That is accurate. Fuck off.
Okay. But yes, anything else in this room you guys want to do? Do you want to try and cut your way through the collapse stuff, go through the empty door, go back? This room is
Cole
mostly junk and cobwebs.
Yeah, Cole wants to check the next room, and then we'll be back for the collapsed door.
Okay. Well, everything you can see through the rubble, you can see on the map. So you see kind of a little stone bowl or basin on the side. You see some shelves, and that's pretty much all you can make out except for a door. There is a door on the other side of that room that you can see into. Oh my god.
I might have misspoke. Wanted to explore this open room first, and then check on that blocked pet door afterwards.
Where the
You
hell?
see some cool stuff in that blocked room that
Okay.
I want to touch.
Okay, sorry Nemo. I didn't realize I left Ron on the same square as you, but you were on top, so I couldn't move him.
No, that was me. I'm sorry. That was me.
Okay. No, you're good. I thought
real
I'd put him
comfy with
somewhere else.
Ron.
Yeah. So in this room there are a few things of note. These two black stone slabs. They're the same kind of ones you saw in the room above the main ceremony hall that had 6 tables, each with a metal body case and a canopic jar. They're the same kind of table. They're consistent. Anytime you see it on the map, that's what you're looking at. One of them just has not a body case, but looks almost like it might be more of a mummified cadaver. And it's been crushed by a falling part of a stone pillar from the roof. but it does look like some of this cadaver is preserved and isn't just straight fucking bones. So make of that what you will. Um, Whatever went on in this bottom right with the table, that's a little harder to suss out. These have always been placed very reverently, and so this one's kind of cockeyed, and the tables or the body case that's on it is almost falling off. There's no canopic jar on this table, so something there worth noting. But in the bottom left corner, there is a heavy metal door that is unlike any doors you've seen here, and it is metal. It is still very much intact, um, but it has a loop to use as a handle, one of those little swinging knocker type loops, and it does have what looks like some sort of lock mechanism with a keyhole. You haven't found any keys in here, but yeah, there is that. I will give up the description in case you guys want to interact with anything.
This mummy is lucky that I don't do acrylics. Otherwise, I'd be harvesting it for a mummy brown.
Fair.
Also lucky that we're not Victorian.
Also, yes.
Uh,
Oh, I forgot to say the metal door that's down in the corner. It's very nicely decorated. Like it's got filigree all over the surface of it. That's really really nice. It's not like it's its own distinct style of filigree that you probably wouldn't have seen before, considering this is supposed to have been a temple from ancient times. So it's probably just not an art style that endured. But just wanted to make sure you knew you were looking at something special.
mhm.
Somebody put money in that door. Um,
Cole's examining the door. It's like, wow, that's a nice door.
yeah.
Someone must really respect or want to protect what's behind it.
What's this?
Sorry, I was typing a thing. What's what?
This.
Oh, yes. Sorry, that is one of the metal body cases that
Oh.
you've seen now a couple times. But it's stored vertically, standing up.
Oh, I see it now. I see his
Yeah.
little tootsies.
Yeah.
Ron is gonna walk over and actually like knock on it, real slow.
Hello.
Do you?
I think
He
it's
knocks
empty.
back.
It sounds pretty hollow.
We've entered a horror game. Welcome.
So remember how there's no undead in Evard? Well, you found some mummies just waiting to stand up.
No,
Just
we don't have to
saying.
worry about that. They're just mummies. They're preserved.
They are, yeah.
That's all they are.
Okay. Cole, as you go forward to interact with that door, it is locked.
Boo.
I still have my handy dandy crowbar.
Yeah, is there like an obvious
Wait a minute. How did this
place
happen? We're
for
smarter
the
than
key, like to
this.
unlock it? Or
Yes.
is it just
Oh.
like
Cole, do the thing.
Yes, there is a keyhole. You just haven't found any keys yet.
Let's check the other room first.
Ah.
Well, this door isn't going anywhere. We'll be back.
And so will the person that is apparently living here. But yeah.
yeah, it's fine.
Cole's not worried about that. So yeah, he's gonna take his special knife and start clearing rubble from this doorway.
I'll just like pull pieces as they're pullable.
Okay.
I'll lend some hauling strength.
Okay. Let me consult a thing in my notes real quick.
Weird. His notes just say in big red letters, if they do this, they die immediately.
Hey, stop it. Bad.
Okay.
Does anyone know what TPK means?
Total party knowledge.
Yeah.
All right.
We learned something.
Yeah, yeah. Just, not player specific knowledge, total party knowledge. Everybody on the same page. That's totally what TPK means. Um Also, hi Carl. I saw you hopped in. I know Carl, I know you know what a TPK is. Feel free to put the answer in chat for me. Yeji, you said you are moving the chunks out?
Yeah, like as Cole gets chunks that are small enough to be moved, or if there are just chunks small enough to be moved, I shall move chunks.
Okay. Go ahead and make an athletics check for me.
Can I just say I'm real strong?
I suppose you can. You will have advantage on it since you are being helped in this.
Nemo will
Have you
supervise.
considered how strong I am? I finally am getting the good rolls.
Excellent. Okay. Unfortunately, Cole, your fun new tool that is coming in very handy in this place, it's still just a knife. So it's going to take a pretty decent amount of time if you're going to cut all the way through this. Because you're only going to be able to cut maybe 8 inches in at a time.
Yeah.
So it'll probably take an hour.
Nemo's gonna go check the desks again. There has to be a key.
Well, this is gonna take a while unless we want to hazard that other door swings around back.
Ron just shrugs. This is not his expertise.
I mean, or we could try knocking this rubble out with something bigger. Not that I really have anything, but
I'm open to ideas.
I have snail flails. Does that help?
My brain mixed them up to be back to you saying I have flail snails, and I'm like, no, the fuck you don't. You do not have a multitude of that large-sized monstrosity.
I
Forget
do
about
have
it.
a crowbar too. I guess I can not only just haul things away, but I can crowbar and hammer to see if that makes it go any faster. But that's pretty much all I have. Or I can just play a lovely tune on my Zilcoon while you work. Or I
I
can
suppose
start
you could.
mending the rubble because that would be funny.
Okay, bad. No. It's just we have all these casters. No earth magic though. No wild shaping though.
I have acid. But like this is
Um,
mostly stone, I think.
It is pretty much all stone.
Yeah, so I'm not sure acid's really gonna help.
Is it
Uh,
investigation to check for drawers or to look for the keys?
yes, it would be an
Some
investigation to look for keys.
maybe some rogue specific. Oh, hello, we've been joined.
You have been joined. After you've been working on that for about 20 minutes, uh, Varcone walks in and sees you guys moving rocks, and he just smiles with his. It's weird to see him smirk because when he smirks, the side of his face that he's trying to use is the one that's like severely damaged, and he doesn't really have an upper lip on that side anymore. So it really looks extremely menacing, except for the fact that you guys have been traveling with these two NPCs for a couple days now. Um,
I completely forgot we had a Goliath in the party.
and it, and he just walks over and smirks and leans against the door frame and asks a Yejiye in giant, "Are you having fun?"
That Yejier is going to level a look at him that says, "Don't make me challenge you to do this faster."
Oh, take an inspiration for that. That's a Goliath lore nugget. Good
Oh,
gracious.
I didn't mean to do that. Disregard. I'm not fighting him. I just clicked the wrong button.
Bullshit! Let's go!
It's just went full on. It is a challenge.
Apparently, inspiration and initiative look really similar to me.
Fair. You do also, seeing him leaning there, he does keep, God, chat, Carl told me what it's called, I think just last week, and I already forgot. But the quiver on his back that's specifically made to hold javelins. So he has some javelins that look like they might be either covered in a thin layer of metal or possibly all metal. You don't see wood as a part of them. So since you were talking about crowbars and leverage, he has
I
those.
mean,
He's not going to offer them, but you would see them. So that's up to you if you want to pitch that idea to use as weapons.
I do have a crowbar. Like,
True.
I do have a crowbar and a hammer, and like, I could probably finagle some pythons to like crack this like I was cracking marble.
I suppose you could. Hopefully you'd have better luck than you did with that one route.
This is more flat than that route, in theory. But Yejie does say her little quip good-naturedly.
To which he just shakes his head and he says, "You should not do this thing. I will win."
Do I? Okay, I was like, do I know if he's implying the opening the door at all or the challenge?
The challenge. Very much the challenge. He's a very confident person.
Yejie will give him a, a toothy, bottom toothy fanged grin, and I would win either way because I would be getting in the room.
Only one way to find out who is faster. And he grabs Cole by like the nape of your clothing. I don't remember if you have like a hood or a jacket or both or whatever, but he scruffs you via the clothing and forcibly pulls you away. Never mind that you're, the one actually cutting the stone into pieces that need moved.
Yep.
Would you resist him?
Because you don't know anything that's being said. He does only speak giant.
Correct. You would be able to see that they don't seem like they're pissed at each other. Like
Yeah,
they seem
and-
like they're laughing.
And Cole's not expecting an attack, so he's just gonna like let it happen, like confused. Like his feet are gonna drag, and he's gonna look over his shoulder and give him a curious look, but he's not gonna fight.
It was his one free bully Cole action.
Yep, for this round.
Excellent.
So Cole got a horse collared back.
Yep. And he steps up and starts laying into it as fast as he can. This is whatever this discussion was. A Yejier lit a fire under this man's ass, and he is trying to cook moving these boulders. Give me just a second to see a thing.
Yejie isn't full Goliath, but she will get her crowbar out and go a little more hard than she was.
Alright, somewhere I have information for this. Because he has stats, I'm just trying to remember where I put them. Okay. Yep. Cool. Yes, thank you, Brad. TPK chat is a total party kill, a party wipe. Everybody dies. Whoops.
You forgot the slash.
I did. Okay. A Yejier. Do you want to make an athletics skill check?
Yeah, I used up my good one. Though he does have that on me. He rolls a better roll than I do.
Also, Red, I did see your investigation check. I have not forgotten.
Yejier is taken aback. She's afraid of smacking him with any of her items.
Okay.
The synergy between her and Cole is no longer there. She's doing worse than she was.
So he gets to the point past where Cole had made any sorts of incision, and he keeps going. And he just starts shoving and pulling enormous fucking stone chunks, like probably a few 100 pounds worth at a time, and will just grab it, heft it up, take a step back, and clunk it on the floor. And once
Cole's moving the fuck out of the way.
once you get about halfway through, he starts just shoving things through to the other side.
Yeah, that's smart.
And a Yejier, whenever you try to do that, maybe it's the result of things shifting as he's doing it with more force, but you're not able to budge anything that smoothly. And by rights, he probably shouldn't be able to either. But Goliaths and stones, man, there's something in the natural world that ties Goliaths to stones, just like possibly spiritually. It's said that they were carved out of the highest mountain peaks. He is having a fucking ball, especially because he's winning easily. And so, hold on, let me do this. Do. So by the time that you,
I will like to say Yejier is like having a blast with this. It's been a while since she's had a challenge.
okay, Varcone just erupts through the last little wall of rubble blocking you, and he pushes through with a triumphant shout. And he reaches and picks up one stone off the floor and turns and throws it at Yejier. Like, it's not a horribly big, heavy one, but it's very much a think fast kind of thing.
She'll attempt to think fast.
Okay.
We'll see if she takes a
Strength or strength or dex save, either one.
Oh gosh, she's not good at either. It's fine. We'll go strength. Yeah, she's not good at either. I used up my 2 good rolls. She's fully willing to take a stone to the chest, though. She is laughing.
Yeah, it absolutely smacks you dead center and like stumbles you back 3 or 4 paces. But he comes over and claps you on the back in the spirit of good contest. And with that, if you guys can withhold popping across to the other room while I resolve stuff for Rad, and then we'll go over there together. Okay, Nemo. Looking for a key. But you're already here. That's a Spanish joke for everybody. Yes.
Oh,
Haha.
see you.
Aquí.
He who laughs last thinks slowest.
But so you find quite a few things in and around this desk. Just as a reminder of stuff. Some of this I described last time. Some of it I think I forgot. But everything you find in and around the desk you find a weighted scale, a complete set of scale weights for balancing, scales or money or whatever's in there. There's a feather quill with an inkwell, but the inkwell is dried up. It doesn't have a cap on it. So the ink just eventually dried up as much as it could. There are the 2 ledgers that you looked through. There's an abacus, there is one unlit candle, and there is a coin box that is like latched closed, but it's not locked closed, and it does sound like it has coins in it. But there's no key. You're pretty confident that there aren't any hidden compartments, or like stashed drawers, or even like loose stones underneath one corner where you just scoot the desk a bit. You're pretty confident there's nothing secretive like that. This doesn't seem like the kind of room where that would make a lot of sense. But you're pretty certain there's not a key to be found in there.
Okay. I give up in this room.
Yes, I thought I had something, but I don't. So, all right, everybody ready?
Mhm.
Going into the next room, by all means, go ahead.
Yoink. Ooh, my sort of room.
So, here's what you see. We're going to start right here by Cole and Nemo, and we're going to work clockwise around the room. So, up first, you see shelves. Hold on, let me scroll down because I have a shitload of notes about these rooms. So there's these shelves that look like it's mostly just stocked with jars and containers of stuff. The one thing you can see is a preserved humanoid heart just sitting on one of the shelves. It's
Oh.
it's like brownish black and dry, but it's still very, very obvious what it is. Um, there is a writing desk right next to it, and with the writing desk there is a there are a few different books in the writing desk. There's also a clay model of a hand that have different markings in a couple different colors on the wrist and the palm. It goes down to like half forearm is the base, and it's a hand vertically modeled. And it's just got a bunch of marks on it that don't necessarily, they're not labeled, so they don't necessarily mean anything. Um, but the books that are there are in good shape, it looks like. And then moving up past that, so up here in the corner, this is something that would catch your eyes immediately. It's a desk that has some bottles on it, mostly made of glass, that contain some sort of liquid or substance. But on the corner there, the corner nearest you guys, is a wooden box with like decorated embellishments all over on the surfaces, on the edges, on the corners. And it has a cylinder coming out the side facing away from you. And out of that cylinder is a beam of light upon the wall. This is a projector. It is projecting an anatomy diagram of a half elf. Like, not like specifically an interior anatomy diagram of a half elf. So, like a drawing of a half elf that has been opened up and is like labeled showing where different organs are. A projector like this, something like this has not been seen in Evard. Like this would be something novel to you guys, unless it's just some sort of illusion magic. But like just a projector device like this would just be like, what the fuck is that? How is that doing this? Um, but all of that is on like a cabinet structure with the bottles you can see. There's a door underneath, presumably there's something in there. Um, this black stone slab has a bunch of embalming tools, a sickle, a cleaver, both of which are rusted. There's a bowl that has another preserved humanoid heart, like the one you saw on the shelf. But otherwise, it's pretty clean. There's like a wash basin up in the corner here that actually has water in it still. There's a barrel full of salt. In my notes for the contents of the salt barrel, it has one entry listed, and it is shitloads of salt. That's all that's in there. I will tell you now, you don't need to search it. Just because jokes like that amuse me when I'm pulling an 8 to 10 hour D&D workday. Um, but then there's this little cluster of things underneath it. So there's this white table, but it's not flat on top. It is cut like to go down into the table to be like less than flat to have like a basin to it, and there's a mostly complete and arranged skeleton in there. There you can see there's a groove in the very bottom of that basin in the center of the table that looks like liquid could drain through there. There's a couple small jars on one end, but on the other end there's the skull. It's not lined up with the rest of the skeleton like where a head would be if they were trying to display what's normal for a skeleton, inside a body. It's misaligned and just like removed and set casually back. But the skull is black. None of the other bones are. So that's kind of funky. A Yejier. Oh, there's also, you can't see it super clearly, but like down in this little corner of it, uh, there's actually a metal pipe that comes out from the bottom of the table over this pit in the next 2 squares down. And that pit is just a reservoir of blood. You guys don't smell it. You would think this much blood exposed for however long would be rank and disgusting. You don't smell it as you walk into the room. And it doesn't look like it's soiled. It looks like it was freshly drained out of, a butcher's current project. And growing over it and kind of down towards and into it it's the same asset as what you saw before, Yejier, but it's a different, a very distinctly different type of root species than what you tried to do before. Um, and then there is a different moss you haven't seen down here that's kind of growing along with it, not necessarily as part of it, but they're hanging out. And then this big thing right here is a giant wooden X frame that's very much like a torture rack. There's nothing on it or in it except there's a weird cyan blue colored rope that looks like it was used to tie someone or something up there at one point and then just like lazily thrown over the top when it was done. I didn't have an asset for that, and I forgot to try and find one. But remember, there's a blue rope there for some reason. Over here is like storage of potions and powders. There's bowls that have powder in them. Sealed up potions that the ones you can see into the bottle look like they're still filled. But then lastly, we end here. This is a full-blown, if not different than definitely what a Yejier would have seen or worked with before, but it is a proper alchemist's workstation. With the alchemist station, there's like a burn. There's like a hole in the back that has a bottom to put some sort of fire or fuel to burn in there. And there's a pot, just like a unadorned fancy iron pot that sits above it for actually brewing any of your alchemy things you need. There's jars and mixtures. There's a few different things on it or in it. There's a small silver bell that you can see just resting on the corner. Um, there's an open scroll that is still written in Terran, but it's got some drawings and some words on it. If you guys want to look at it, I'll tell you what it is later. And otherwise, there's a mortar and pestle and a bunch of alchemy components. And that is this room. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. There's just a lot going on in here, so I want to make sure you know what you're seeing. For what it's worth, this is probably the most description of find things of pretty much any room in this place. As far as like the stuff you can interact with or pick up or search or run away from in fear. I mean,
If I touch the egg, I can only be so afraid.
that's fair. That's a good point. Uh, Varkon looks around as you guys are in here, and he just shouts back through the doorway for Shoko. Like, he just shouts Shoko's name so you guys can recognize that. And he goes running off, presumably to tell her, because she was still studying, but she was kind of in the next room over. But he pulls her in here also, so they are available while you guys are searching through stuff. Once again, Shoko is having the fucking time of her life in here. Her feet are not touching the floor. She is happily just like hovering as she's floating and levitating about with her little owl wings. Because in case anybody forgot, owlins don't have wings that are the same as their arms. They have arms and they have wings on their back, so she can still do stuff while she's flying. And she is. You would probably have to work around her a little bit, but it's good. She just likes her job. So what do y'all want to do in this room? Even if it's nothing.
I think you know.
Fair enough.
If anyone else wants to do anything, I can roll a couple of survivals.
While you're doing that, Cole's gonna take a look at the scroll on the alchemist station.
Okay.
Kind of take a look at things a little closer.
All right. Yejier, go ahead and make your survival rolls for harvesting things.
I was doing tree first. Sorry, I said it in my head, but not.
No,
out
that's
loud.
fine. And then Nemo. It sounded like you may have had something you were gonna do.
Book?
Book? Which the book you're looking at? Okay.
Handbook.
Handbook. Okay. Before I resolve any of this, let's go ahead and take a wellness break because it's already 8:15, and if I don't do it now, before I start describing the results of all this stuff, I'm gonna forget about it and it'll be 20 minutes before stream ends. So let's go ahead and take 5 minutes and do a regularly semi-scheduled wellness break, and I'll come back and let you guys know what you find.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, bye. See you soon.
Bah.
All right, so things are getting fun. They found a little bit more going on in here. But yeah, everybody go ahead, do what you gotta do. Y'all know by now how to do a wellness break around here. Millie knows. She knows if you're not taking care of yourself. That hasn't changed even in the blizzard. She can still figure it out. She can still use whatever power of hers it is that be, uh, and she can still mess with you from afar. So do what you gotta do, whatever kindness and wellness look like for you in the next couple minutes, and we will be right back. welcome back. I might be back a little bit early, but that's okay. Y'all keep doing what you're doing. I partially wanted to come back because we'll see if he's feeling up to it or if he's being camera shy, but I have a Hoban boy over here who might want to make a cameo. So I thought you guys might want to see that. Nope, not quite. We were close. All right, bye, buddy. We're so close. You guys haven't seen Hoban in so long. But yeah, I appreciate. He wants to come bug Pez. Of course he does. I appreciate everybody hanging out and being patient while I get to a break to be able to address you, chat. I know that's not the best format to run a stream, but with something as intense as D&D, I don't really know how to do it any other way that's fair to the people playing the game. But I really appreciate it, and it's so good to see all of you. Yeah, I'm real excited for where this is going, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying it enough to come hang out. Uh, I think things are going to get fun pretty soon. I mean, I'm having fun already. I hope you are too, but you know what I mean, storytelling wise. That said, it's probably been about long enough, so let's get back to it, huh? Let's get back to it. Okay, friends, are we back?
I am.
I am here. For now.
Oh, sus. Okay, Rad is back. I think we're all here. So let me make sure I haven't left y'all or me accidentally muted. Yeah. Also, chat, I don't know if you guys have been able to hear the background music, but I've been having background music playing. So let me know if it's too loud or too quiet. Okay, thanks, bye. So, up first, Yejiye. You had a 12 on your survival to gather. Oh no,
A
a
14
14.
then a 12.
14 then.
Don't worry, I got worse.
Okay. Um. Do, 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 do. So as you go to try and like interact with these giant roots suspended above and some dipping down into this well of oddly sufficient, or oddly sufficient, oddly preserved blood in this just pit, which like this has got to be an absolutely shitload of blood. Just it's a 10-foot by 5-foot pit, just full of that. But as you're going to reach in, you realize that in between and over the actual like core part of the roots that you would want to get a sample of are really, really fine thorns. And in between those, it's hard to see, but you can definitely feel it, is a surprisingly dense layer of mycelia. And between the thorns and the mycelial fibers on these roots, you can't really get your hand in to actually find the actual root part. It just makes it really hard to navigate and be able to grasp anything that would be effective as a workable sample for you. Did that make sense? So essentially, you aren't able to get anything usable from
Have you considered my counter argument? But I want it.
it. After enough time has passed going to see other areas, if you guys aren't like running out of this place fleeing for your lives, you could take time to like pick up Nemo's picture frame, reattempt to gather some materials, um,
Yeah, no,
stuff like that.
my one failure is enough.
Okay.
I was even gonna maybe collect some blood for it, but no.
Okay. I suppose there is a moss there too.
Yeah, that's why I did 2 rolls.
Oh, I thought you were rolling with advantage. My bad.
No. I just rolled worse.
Fair. Okay. Let me find my stats for that moss.
Good thing I'm not a druid. Or maybe a bad thing. I don't know. I feel like a druid would be disappointed in me.
Back
And,
down.
dislocating these plants. They're perfectly happy where they are.
Oh, I apologize. Uh, the the moss on the map isn't actually. Oh no! It is. It is.
It's like, you better
The
make
boss
it.
is why.
Okay. Yes. So this moss that's on there, um, you get closer, you interact with it, and you realize that it's a lot of small little individual colonies of moss that are just, at least here, growing pretty densely together to look like they're making contact and are one thing, but that's not actually the case. But it's lavender in color. There's not any green to it whatsoever, and it has a really soft bioluminescence. Like, for somebody without dark vision, this would probably be enough to see the 5 foot square that they're in as dim light. Uh, and as you get close to it and start manipulating it and collecting your samples from it, you realize it smells like saffron.
Ooh.
This is definitely not anything you've ever heard of or seen before, like many of the species down here. Um, Go ahead and roll me a d4. Okay, so take that result and add your intelligence modifier to it, is how I want to do this for your sample collecting. Um, or I guess, would it be intelligence or wisdom? Wisdom is your modifier for harvesting, but I'll say intelligence for like knowing what you need to be able to collect an effective sample and be able to research it, like to figure that out. So you get 2 plus whatever your intelligence modifier is of usable samples of this moss. Working title for this entirely undescribed species of purple moss is Gracebane. One word.
Also, I need people to know I can spell bioluminescence with no issue, but like, I can't consistently spell thorough.
Dude, same.
No, that's fair.
There was a word I was trying to type during all of my prep and DM stuff today in my notes that doesn't have an E on the end of it. It ends in an S. There's never once been an E at the end of it. And I typed it a lot, but every single time I typed it today, I put an E on it for like no reason. I just, yeah, I don't know. Spelling it's not a good day in the lunar cycle for spelling, I think, is what it boils down to. Um,
It's a little je ne sais quoi.
yeah. But so that's what you end up finding. That'll occupy you for a few minutes while everybody else looks through their stuff. Continuing with the clockwise rotations, Cole, you are at the alchemy table. So that is too far through my notes. So you find the silver bell that's there. It might actually be made of silver, like precious metal silver. It might just be made of a vaguely similar colored metal. Uh, but it's just a simple little wooden handled little dingling bell. Uh, I suppose may or may not be the right DM move, but I'm going to do it anyway. Would you interact with that at all?
Um, Probably. I'm I'm curious enough. It's like, ooh, that's pretty. Pick up, examine.
Okay, you pick it up and you see it still has the, I don't know what it's called, but in my head I call it a hammer for a bell, the thing that clinks and actually makes the noise.
The
That
ding-a-ling.
sounds right.
Yeah, that's still in there. It looks as clean and nice as the rest of this little bell is, and you watch it hit the side of the bell to make sound, and it makes no sound. You can shake this thing furiously. You can see that the hammer is hitting the side like normal. It doesn't make a single sound.
Oh,
So there's that. Um, yeah, there's a mortar and pestle on the alchemy tabletop that's definitely well used. It's got like some pretty decent sort of friction spots where the once polished stone has been worked on enough that it's rubbed the smooth polish off the bottom bit. There's a few stains in it, just like well used piece of equipment. The alchemy components, you'd have to make a check to make any sense out of those. There are a few empty potion bottles and vials, presumably for filling with whatever you make. But the open scroll, written in Terran, uh, it has depictions of several different like shapes, types, theories. It's hard to tell because you can't read Terran. Uh, but it looks like they're different types or iterations or styles of heart. Like, there's definitely one that looks like a humanoid heart, and there are others that look kind of similar, but also not. And it's got a decent chunk of text in this old language, and that's everything important about the alchemy bench without any kind of check.
um, I'm guessing Cole wouldn't know that Ron could read this, but
Um,
he would know that Nemo has been reading stuff.
yeah.
Nemo, when you
Hmm?
have a minute, I got something over here I got a question on.
Alrighty. Um, but then she like turns around, looks at what he's looking at, and then points to Ron.
Ron just looks confused. He's like, what?
So
What?
does Cole.
And then he looks at Cole, and he looks at the alchemy table, and oh, right, okay. And Ron walks over and just starts reading to you, which you would all be able to hear what it says on this piece of paper because Ron is reading it out loud. Um,
I'd just like to pause, and I think I just self reinforced the fact that Nemo doesn't think Cole can read.
I forgot about that. uh, okay, all right, yep, yep, yep. You truly did. You truly did, my friend. Um, so Ron, he crossbow still in hand. He just kind of looks down at the table while still in his very business ready for action posture and just starts reading. Regardless of species, the heart is the most sacred piece of any creature's body. It gives both the blessing of life and his gift of death. Observe all prayers and rituals before removing and processing. Different species have different vascular connections and chamber structures, as shown below. That's all that's sensible. The rest of it's faded or just bad handwriting.
I want it.
Like there used to be labels on some of this stuff, but none of it is really readable anymore. I don't even know what other kinds of hearts these are supposed to be, but I know they ain't mine.
And that's what matters.
Cole's gonna just kind of realize something for a sec. What what does your heart look like? Is it similar to uh, most use here.
I think Cole is trying to ask, is it organic or is it a rock?
Essentially, but like, I think folk might be the right term because I'm guessing most bipedal creatures of Yvard have a pretty similar heart structure. I'm just guessing.
Ron looks at you, Cole, and he just blinks once or twice before he goes, "Well, I ain't pulled it out and looked, but to my knowledge, it should be pretty much like yours or anybody here's. Like, I know I've got genie blood, but I'm primarily still considered a humanoid. I'm pretty sure my parts' inner workings are very much the same."
Humanoid,
Giving
that was the
Ron an
word I was looking
existential
for.
crisis.
Yeah.
Cole, have you seen a lot of hearts?
Actually, no, I can confirm. I have seen a Genasi heart before.
Oh.
It was early on in my mercenary days. It's fine.
And Nemo, I'm not answering that.
Nemo just like brought up bad memories for two people in this room.
Ron looks
In
at you,
one
Cole.
easy sentence.
Ron looks at you, Cole, and gives just a curt little, "I respect that" nod. Like, and I get it.
Cole returns it. And then just looks back down at the table.
Okay, and then Nemo.
Shamefully.
Cole is gonna pocket that bell though, and he's gonna like put some cloth around the hammer or the dinger or whatever. Because
Okay,
it doesn't make sound, that doesn't mean it doesn't have an effect.
fair
We'll
point.
play with that later.
Fair point. That is a good, clever line of thought that sounds very much in line for Cole. I think that deserves an inspiration for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, and then Nemo is at the desk with the hand. All right, Nemo, the important things of note at that station, there are two books that are still in good shape, good comprehensible shape, and then there's that clay model of the hand. Um, and that's pretty much all that's there. The two books, one of them is called Berezi's 10 Ways to Dress a Corpse.
Cute.
Uh, and as you're flipping through it, you realize this is like an entry level instruction manual. Well, not entry level. This is like an intermediate level instruction manual on how to dress a corpse, as in like field dress a deer, not
Mm.
dress it up for display in nice clothes.
Mhm.
Um, but it's like a lot of other stuff in here. It's got a lot of pictures, a lot of diagrams. All of these different things are very clearly drawn or written by different hands and different people, but it looks like there's some overlap in basic knowledge that's still here, and you don't really see anything super new that you haven't already seen in some of the other stuff you found. At least for that one. The other one, at at first glance, is going to sound like some other stuff you've already found. Uh, but you pick up a couple passages towards the end of this text that are you haven't really seen anywhere else. The second book is called An Acolyte's Guide to Administering His Sacred Gift. And this is very much an entry level training text for new acolytes, but it specifically is about how to develop their judgment and their sense of investigating and detecting different symptoms and indicators, essentially to determine, even though it's not really like their call to make, it says in here, this isn't your call to make, but someday if you advance beyond being an acolyte, this is something you'll have to know and know how to do and prove you can do before you advance into priesthood. Is This is a training manual on how to judge whether or not an injured, sick, or comatose person should be euthanized out of mercy, and then the methods by which to humanely do so. And that is all that book is about.
Does it
Ooh.
cover the 6 signs of death?
It does not.
That's a missing opportunity.
It is. It is.
Especially the one about blood outside the body.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
So there's that.
okay. Nemo's going to take the second book, walk over to Yoshi very nonchalantly, and just put that into the bag. Excuse me, Yoshi. And just like pass the bag and then walks away.
I'm just gonna drop that in there for later
Yeah.
reference.
Yeah.
Okay. But otherwise, unless you want to interact with the model at all, those are really the only things worth noting at this desk.
I feel like she would be really curious about that hand, so but she also wants to go look at the projector.
Yeah, either one.
Could she like pick up the hand and like fiddle with it as she's walking to the projector?
Yeah, sure. Um,
Kind of like a handsy kindergarten at a museum.
yeah, it is kind of posable and movable, but it's really, really stiff, and you get the sense that trying to put too much force into moving it too quickly might like break it. But like if you're patient, it'll work.
But for sure, it's wax.
It's some kind of mostly hard but still semi-soft clay.
Okay.
It is not a fleshy hand, no.
Okay.
But it does have a pretty decent amount of detail. Like it seems to be pretty good about bending and indicating the bends in the different fingers. Some of the larger lines on the palm are at least loosely on there. Physically are in there, unlike the lines and markings that are on different parts of this thing. Those are just like a colored pigment that are put on. Those are a marking. They're not part of the model originally. Uh, they do seem like they're something. Like they don't seem like they're necessarily random entirely, but they don't necessarily make a ton of sense. Nothing on it is labeled, at least.
Yeah. Like, could she tell if they're like blood vessels or something?
You could
Or it
make
was supposed to signify blood vessels?
you could make a medicine check for that.
Oh.
If you couldn't tell, I as a DM love skill checks.
Yes. Okay. Well. Hey.
Nice.
Nice. Okay. A few of them do line up with blood vessels. Um, for whatever reason, uh, previous injury, personal experience, or just flipping through the books, 10 minutes ago in another room, a few of them do line up with blood vessels as a way of doing bloodletting and processing. That would make the most sense. But there are some that are in a very, very dark, almost black, but slightly noticeable green on like the webbing in between the fingers as just little tick marks, or on the back of the middle knuckle of the pointer finger and the ring finger. That you can't quite make sense of until you remember a reference in was it one of these books? Yes, actually, in Berezi's 10 Ways to Dress a Corpse. One of the sections in there is spiritually significant locations to apply herbal preservatives on the skin to prevent. Some of it kind of sounds like some more religious beliefs about spiritual significance of parts of the body and why they need to have special attention. Uh, it would go into a fair amount of detail. I doubt Nemo would do more than gloss over, but like that's definitely what those are. Is they're showing where to put a certain type of topical surface preservative on the hand. So it's a model of both. This seems like a lot of the stuff in here is a training room
Oh. With the torture device.
with a torture device. Yes. Um, but then you wanted to go interact with the projector.
Yes, Nancy.
Okay. While Nemo is transitioning to the projector, what's everybody else doing?
I'm interested in the alchemy stuff, but I am very interested in the projector.
Okay.
So was that okay? You're both heading over there. Trying to remember. Ulf, was there anything on this table that hasn't been looked at?
That is just supply shelves on the wall.
Okay.
Shoko has kind of been putzing about, but she's also writing furiously, so her like assessment is not taking her assessment's taking a while. But it's mostly containers, jars, bottles. Um, some of them are sealed, some of them are not. The only thing on there that isn't like a storage vessel of some kind is the first uh, mostly preserved, partly mildly shriveled human heart or humanoid heart.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing on that shelf that isn't in a container.
Gotcha. The only other thing Cole would do at the moment would be um, just open this door and kind of peer in through,
Okay.
seeing what he can see on the other side.
Okay. I need to go into a settings real quick. Okay, it should be unlocked now. Approaching from the other side, you would be able to unlock this door from this side normally, but from the other side, it would have been locked. So you guys managed to get in here the easy way by convincing a Goliath to do a contest of strength. um,
I love how that was the easy way.
I mean, it's either that or another locked door. To be fair, this one doesn't look nearly as I don't know, intimidating. The other one didn't necessarily look intimidating, other than the fact that you haven't found a key for it yet, and it looks really sturdy. And it is like a whole, like it might be a solid metal door that you encountered in that other room. So like, hefty. This is definitely not that. It's just in good shape. Um, and then Cole, you can pretty much see what you can see down that hallway. You see a chair and some bookshelves in a hallway, or like at the end of a hallway, and that's pretty much it.
Gotcha.
Um,
We got another room after this one we can look at.
all right.
Fantastic.
Ron offers to stand in the doorway so he can just watch in case anything is coming back this way. Just doing his job.
That's fair.
You're doing it fabulously.
All right, Nemo and Yejie, you guys get back here and see this projector, and I mean it's a projector like you understand it in the modern sense, and it's really something somebody put a lot of care and work and time into. It's been well maintained. The thing is pretty looking even if you didn't know what it was and it wasn't turned on like it is, and it was just sitting there as a weird artistic thing for a conversation starter. Like it still looks very nice, very expensive. Never mind the fact that it is emitting light that produces a stable image on the wall. And just as a reiteration, the image on the wall has text, but it's not a ton. It's mostly uh, labels for images that are in there. It seems like if this is a training room, that may be a primary reference intended to be more directed towards people who can't read.
Hey,
Cole's
Cole,
gonna.
come here.
Hey, shut up. Cole's just gonna holler from kind of across the room. Careful with illusions. It could be hiding something different.
Yejier is doing precisely what I imagine anyone seeing a projector for the first time in their life would do,
Sticking
which
him in
is
front of the light.
wave hand in front of light, and then look directly into light source because you're not thinking about it.
No, that's fair.
Okay.
Not saying it's the smartest idea. I'm saying if I encountered a projector for the very first time in my life, it would be look at wall, stand in front of light, see it doing thing, look at hole where light is coming from.
Oh, clearly that's a tiny mage's house, and he's casting illusionary magic from it.
For the benefit of
They
all.
lift it off the table. Reveal yourself, tiny sorcerer.
Pretty much.
I mean, both of those things go exactly as we modern folks would expect. Your hand makes the image disappear off the wall and pop back up, and it glows with a smaller version of the image, which is easier to tell on your bigger hands than it would have been on some of these other folks. Like Shoko's hands, there's no way you would have been able to tell that the image was still visible. You would just see light. And then when you look directly into it, I mean, surprise. Make a dex save to get the fuck
Gonna be
out of
blinded
there.
for a minute. Oh, it's okay. My one good roll.
It hasn't come through for me. For some
Yeah.
reason, yeah, the rolls are having a bit of a delay. Everybody's are for me. Hey!
Oh.
Nat
Oh.
20.
Hell yeah!
Wow.
Bonus 150 experience points for Yejiye.
Yeah.
Nice.
Um,
On your A game.
yeah, like it's bright. You are blinking furiously and things are blurry for a bit, but you are not actually properly blinded. Because, like,
Yay.
you don't even get your head fully square on before you realize, before your instincts kick in and say, this is a bad fucking idea, and stand you back up straight.
I tap the box.
It sounds mostly hollow.
The urge to shake the box is so strong, but I'll wait to see what Nemo does.
So she's telling Yoshi, I think, like, pick it up.
Is this how you treat all
I
of
mean,
your
Yoshi
eggs?
is gonna do it.
Okay, yeah, it lifts up just fine. It's got heft to it. It weighs a couple pounds. By a couple, it weighs like probably 5 pounds. Which honestly, it looks like it definitely could have weighed more. But
Nemo, like, waves
like
her hand underneath it.
like it is a portable thing, and the image goes haywire at just being moved in the way a projector would if you just picked it up and started messing with it while it was doing its job.
Just like pointing it at different walls.
Same results every time.
Looking at the sides of the box where the light isn't coming out of, does it look like there's any place to open it? Or, like, I'm thinking of little slides that you put in projectors. Like, is there any place where I could quote unquote take the image out?
What's your passive investigation? Unless you want to make a check.
14.
Okay. One of the side panels looks like it opens downward, so it has a latch underneath the roof because it's kind of shaped like. Imagine like the way a young kid or me, Ulf, as an adult still draws a house, where it's just like a square, and then you don't draw the top line of the square, and then you make a triangle on top, but you don't draw the bottom of the triangle, and then that's the roof that's slightly wider than the house. That's kind of the shape of this projector.
Okay.
It has a slightly overhanging roof on all sides, but there's a latch on the underside of the roof that you can switch, and that side panel just drops down. I don't know if you would fully open it right away, but at least that's how you would do it. But the cylinder that's sticking out of the one side that has the light coming from it, you notice at the base of it, right up next to the box, the top half of the cylinder also has a little latch that you can flip open, and it's just the top half has a little door, like a little trap door that opens up, and there is a circular disc of glass there's actually, you can see a second one, but it's not really accessible from this opening. This is only meant to grab what we know as the image that you're projecting and swap it out. But a Yejier would, I guess you'd be able to figure that out. You know how to see an image and deduce what's happening.
If nothing else, I would touch the circle of glass and figure out what happens.
Yeah. The image gets silly. If you lift it up and pull it out, it disappears off of the wall.
And she would absolutely open up the side panel for Nemo to rummage through while she holds the projector.
Thank you. I'm so glad we're on the same page.
After finding the little circular glass, Yejier is going to like glance around to see if there's any container that might hold more of them, or see if there's any more around. She's not going to actively go searching while holding it still for Nemo, but just a glance.
Nothing super obvious, but it is sitting on top of a wooden cabinet. So you could, there might feasibly be more in there. But yeah, Nemo, you're rummaging around the inside?
Yeah. Light source.
Okay. So inside this thing, you see a metal dome on like the bottom baseboard, whatever. But there's just a metal dome that encompasses most of the floor space of this interior, except on the end going out towards the projecting cylinder and the lenses. That dome has an offshoot, so it's kind of like traditional igloo shape. And at the end where there would be a door on that little opening off of the dome, there is just a glass lens, and it is shooting a beam of light out that hits another lens that a Yejier you would have been able to see because it's right in front of the image you're projecting. But as far as the light is coming out from the inside of the dome, so whatever's in there, you don't necessarily have a great way of telling. There is like a switch on the inside up against one of the walls, and there's also a like a, I can't think of the word. It looks like a button for clothing, like just like a circular disc on a central peg, and you can turn it. It's a dial. I couldn't think of the word dial. It's a dial. I don't know if you'd mess with either, but those are pretty much the only other things inside.
Just gonna mess with the switch.
It shuts the light off, and
I poked the dome.
in doing so, when you hit the switch and the light shuts off, you hear a shh as that happens.
We couldn't actually hear the shick noise.
Oh, yeah, a shick, a shick.
Yeah, it
Still didn't come through.
Damn, man, this mic is good. Okay, but a small thing moving, essentially.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the best way I can put it without making the sound that nobody can hear again.
Yep, the tiny wizard closed his shutter. His window.
But every time you flick that switch and the light turns on and off, you hear that sound again.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's only once. It lasts for like half a second. But when it starts is right when the light starts turning off, and when the sound ends, the light is done turning off. So probably some kind of shutter somewhere.
Oh. Okay. Is there a way to like move the dome?
It looks like it's riveted. into
Oh,
the bottom of this this like framework.
I think we would have to break it to figure out what's the life source.
I think. How big is this?
Hmm?
Like a foot, 2 feet.
Foot no bigger than a foot and a half, and any give like maybe a foot and a half tall, but probably only a foot wide, which would be the important one for the dome inside.
Because that means it can fit in the bag.
There you go.
Yeah.
Soap is so sick of me in my 2 bags.
No, it
What do you
just
think it
amuses
is,
me.
though?
It amuses me greatly.
Because I feel like we can learn more about it without breaking it if we just take it.
If we just
Or we can show it
pocket this
to Tenth.
never seen device. There you go.
Exactly.
10th would love
It's
to see it.
There you
it's
go.
like
Now there's an
we
idea.
yeah, we could take this and examine it, or we could destroy it to see if we get how it works. Well, I'm not a tinkerer. Who knows? Tosses on ground, steps on it.
Okay.
All right.
So I'm shoving it into the bag.
Yeah.
Off, preferably.
Yeah.
The bag TM.
And I would like to do a quick glance opening this cupboard to see if there are more doodads. Images, slides.
Ba-ba-ba-ba. There are not. There are a couple bottles of like clear glass bottles of some sort of solution or potion or other substance. Inside the cabinet, besides that, the only other thing is another strange device.
Oh no.
You see
Run.
something that looks kind of like a foot pedal, like you would have on a grinding wheel at a blacksmith shop to spin the wheel, but it is attached to like a weird narrow leather hose that has a metal cap, a tapered cap on the end of it. And there's also in between those two, I'm describing this well. So it's the pedal, then there's a like removable uh, reservoir for holding something or like a hopper. It's solid, you can't see into it. It has a lid, and then the hose is attached to the reservoir. Those are the only things in there.
Pressurized water.
I wouldn't drink it.
Carbonate your water. They were fancy.
This is what it
Uh,
feels like to chew 5 gum.
ASGA does not feel a strong pull to shove this in the bag.
Fair.
But if anyone wants to inspect it, by all means.
I'm gonna step on the pedal.
You would probably have to like pull it out
Oh.
and like set it up. Like it's kind of jammed in there a bit. So it like
Step underneath.
I suppose you probably could step on the pedal, but it would be awkward and definitely not how this thing is intended to be used. But I mean, you could. I will let you do it, but I just want to know if you pull it out or not.
I'll pull it out.
Okay.
If it makes it easier.
Uh, Mostly it would just be easier for you to see anything about it. Um, the pedal works as intended, and you hear a light whooshing sound, and out the end of the nozzle on the hose comes like a little bit of a mist, but that's it. Like there was a liquid in there at some point, and you're just blowing out air that just happened to catch beads of whatever liquid substance it was.
Oh. That's how the hell's done things. I imagine. Player knowledge. I don't think Nemo will understand what that is.
Fair enough.
Cool. It goes foosh. And she just puts it back.
Okay, fair enough.
Cole, do you want to do anything?
I'd be looking to explore the next room.
Can Nemo touch the skull first?
And also, are any of these glass bottles actually filled with liquids of interest? AKA not super dried out liquids.
Most of the bottles in that cabinet are still filled with a liquid of some type.
Oh, no.
Viscosity varies.
Oh no. That's a lot.
If
Does
you if you
either
if
Nemo
you
or AJ recognize the liquids?
I mean they're slightly tinted or clear for the most part, or like kind of murky. They vary, but if you want to like take a look at them in general, I can summarize some of the stuff you find.
Mostly, she's gonna take things. Is the
Mhm.
issue if they seem like they're things she hasn't interacted with before?
If nothing else, you could open it and like sniff it, or
It seems like a bad idea
Would
that I
you
am
say-
gonna do.
No.
We
okay.
don't know what embalming fluid is.
Okay. A lot of it smells either herbal or smells very vinegary or like alcohol spirits and sterilized kind of a smell, like probably magically sterilized, which I imagine has a slight scent to it, much like a recently sterilized room in a hospital does. Um, but yeah, you have essentially found chemicals for embalming.
Yeah, I don't think any of those would interest her strongly enough.
One of them is a bottle of just straight, like some kind of acidic thing. Like just not like acid, like does acid damage, but like if you're working with chemicals, it is just like an acid solution that doesn't seem to have any other specific properties, unless like you just need something for the pH. But
You mentioned this specifically, which makes me think I want it, but
I could see you finding enough reason to maybe want to grab it, so I want to make sure you know it's there.
okay, thank you.
Yes.
I can make my own acid.
No, that's true.
I mean, it'd be useful for like etching eggs, but it feels like something she could probably find or make surface side.
Yeah, I mean, what it is something easily, even if not exact, in function, you can replicate this easily.
Okay.
And then Nemo wants to look at a skull.
Yes.
Okay. It is a black skull.
Does it, like, shifting around it, does it look like it's painted? It's coated in something? Was it burned?
It looks like it was burned. Like this seems like char and like charring the surface of the bone, and also you get soot residue on your fingers.
Huh.
But it's
in
a
her
pretty even color and shade of black.
Oh. That was a fairly good fire. By any chance, does she, like, recall anything from the books that she was glancing through as to why they have this practice? What was the point of that?
Yes. Mostly not so much like in a text or instruction booklet, but in some of the notes, you get the impression that this was supposed to be. This had a different use. This skull was not going to go with the rest of the body, possibly for someone to take for reasons unknown. But just like a small mention that's just like don't forget to pull aside the skull and put it in the bonfire to char, before it gets picked up.
They fucking delivered skulls. Okay. Now she's having a crisis. Like, do I want to take him? No, he was meant for somebody. He was meant for someone else. I don't know if they're ever coming back for him.
Poor Yorick, I remember him well.
Yeah, she just like gently passes. She's like, sorry for bothering you. And then she just goes off.
All right. You guys are set in that room?
Yes.
I believe so.
Yeah.
After
I
I
feel
do a
like
peek.
like in a modern sense, they're kind of like at a store. Meanwhile, there's like
I can see everything suddenly.
Heck. You can see nothing?
Everything.
Hmm.
Oh, it went away again. We're good. I just suddenly was able to see the entire map for like 2 seconds. I zoomed really far in though, don't worry.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not sure why that
I panicked.
would have happened. I don't know.
I usually suddenly got like God vision for a second. She's just like,
Pretty
oh,
much,
shit.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
A brief second of omniscience.
As you guys are walking out, Shoko looks up for like the first time since entering this room as you're passing by, and she just says,
I will be here for a while. If you need me, come find me.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
and Varkon seems like he's probably just going to stick with her because they're besties apparently.
Oh.
They were in prison together. You know, Myconid prison.
They did time together, yes.
And then
Done their time. They served their nickel.
this is just kind of like a little reading nook. There's a couple of bookcases. Some of the books are in okay shape. Some of them have rotted away. But here in the corner, there's a stone chair that has the remains of a cushion. Yes?
No. Cole and Nemo overlapped for a second. I was like, sorry.
Oh.
Excuse me. This is a tiefling huddle.
It's like, get your big ass horns out of the way. I can't see.
At the end of this hallway that Ron is looking down, there's a door frame without a door. It's kind of just more of an archway. And you can see a room that has, I guess, it's just out the edge of your dark vision so that it'd be dim light, but you can tell that there's some kind of probably furniture or something at the other end of that room. But you can see in enough detail the near half of the room that it has different floor tiles. It looks like it's going to be another room that's probably preserved well with not so much falling away, because so far the couple times you've seen a room that has a different floor than this regular stone masonry, that room has been preserved, like the Great Hall. Or I guess the room that had the egg was kind of crumbling apart, but a part of the roof also caved in and broke the reliquary open, so that also just kind of damaged the room besides from a different source. But it like was decently preserved. So just from what you've seen down that way, if you peek down that hall.
Sounds like a fun direction to go.
Books?
Because otherwise, hold on, let me check a thing. Okay, that's a goof. Um, at the end of this other hallway that's going off to the right, there is supposed to be a door.
Oh.
For some reason,
Ah.
the Roll20 lighting, when I imported this map from the program I used to make it into Roll20, it copies all the lighting and it does a great job now, better than it used to, but it did goof this one bit, and it would take longer for me to switch than I care to do, but that is a space you can walk through. I might have to do it so that you can actually walk through it. But what you see on the other side is a large collection of cobwebs on the. Oh, that's not so bad to fix. There you go. That's what you see.
Oh. Oh. Like Nemo starts giving
Long
cold
room.
crap. Like,
Oh,
see, I
that's
told you your horns are too big to see. And then, oh, okay.
that looks like a hole.
That is a hole.
Oh.
I don't like that. No, thank you.
That's a few skeletons on the floor next to a hole. Uh, there is just a Yejiye, this slab that you are standing next to nearest this door, just has a plain skeleton on it. It's vaguely in the shape of a humanoid lying down. Um, like pretty well in the shape, except if it was laid here with flesh on it, the bones would jostle as it decomposed. Um, a little bit, but it was pretty obviously laid calmly here, like everything else that's been on these slabs that hasn't been crushed by falling rocks. In the middle is a mummified cadaver, and then at the far one is another one of the metal body cases with a canopic jar. Note, there is not a canopic jar with the mummy. Not that that does or does not have any significance here, but as a reminder, that is a cultural association from the real world. That is not necessarily a thing your characters would think that kind of jar has to be with a mummy in Yvard. But, yeah. Then there's a hole, and there are a bunch of those metal body cases standing up against the wall over here next to another really heavy metal door like the one you saw earlier. And it does have like a latch on this side, presumably to secure and lock or unlock it.
Cole's gonna peer down the hole.
And
Push
Nemo's
him.
just on edge, like, why?
I'll stand near Cole.
Uh, it you don't see the bottom of the hole in the dim light converted to bright light of your dark vision. You think you might see the bottom in the dim light that is everything else in the darkness, as far as your eye can see.
I
Does the bottom move?
It is a long way down. Enough that if you want to make sure that is the bottom you're seeing and not just like shadow or rock, you would need to make a perception check.
do
Wh-
have something for this,
okay.
which is the projector.
Of-
Seeing Cole squint into the giant hole, I'll go ahead and dig that projector out and turn the light on like a huge flashlight.
This is why I love D&D. Is moments like that where it's like, oh shit, I as a DM hadn't I there's no yes, there's technically feasible and reasonable ways to predict this as a possibility. But like but nobody's going to predict that that's how this is going to go. And I love it. I love seeing those uses of things that the DM could never anticipate, even if I get salty about it because I don't know what to do. In this case, I do. This goes on probably for about 100 feet.
Oh.
And at the bottom, you can still barely see anything with any particular detail because by the time you get down there, the focus light of the projector is not that strong. So it's not illuminating it in super bright light, but it is making it a little bit better. You can just barely make out the details of piles. Well, I guess it's one pile of just a pile of bones. Like, who knows how far down the actual bottom of this pit is? Because even if you were to jump down and not die, all you would be able to see for a bottom is the bones you walk and land upon.
Wow.
I mean, never you mind. There are 3 more less intact skeletons underneath your feet at the edge of this. Like, like they were set there with intent, and then whoever was supposed to yeet them down the hole just kind of got distracted and forgotten. Oops, now the temple's abandoned for some reason. They just never finished the task.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
It'd take 2 guys to check a corpse down.
Does Cole say this?
No.
Okay.
that's a niche reference.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what you see in here.
I've helped you.
Question.
I put the box back.
Okay. Yes.
Question.
Possible
So
answer.
how fine are the tools that are used to take the organs out of the body in the other room?
They're pretty fine. Like some of them are like surgical tools. Like there's scalpels, there's bone saws, there's
What sort of fine? Are we
calipers.
talking like thin, or are we talking like
Valuable,
valuable?
or like
Thin, as in like Nemo's thinking of using them as a makeshift lock picking kit.
um
We established that a Yejiye has lock-picking kit on her.
Does she? I totally
Yeah.
forgot.
It would have been funnier though if Nemo started trying to lockpick with those.
lock picking with a
Yes,
couple of scalpels and he just walks up and hands her a proper
And like a
kit.
little.
Yeah, it does have these tools. Funny, because she's the only not rogue.
But yeah. Like if nobody reminds her, because I forgot that she had those.
I,
I would say Nemo forgot she had
Okay.
those.
Yeah, I didn't say anything. That was player conversation, but
Yeah.
we established that when I did my jukebox on to find the knife.
Mm.
Yeah. But that was days ago. So
Yeah, it was.
yeah. Uh so like nobody I guess like Nemo will like mention like I'm gonna go get something to try to pick the locks. Takes off. Comes back with like surgical tools.
Yejiye shakes head and oh you sweet child. Is it Hoban time? It's Hoban time. It's Hoban time. Only for like
For 2 seconds.
yeah, for 2 seconds because his dinner's gonna fall in less than a minute. There it is, and he's gone.
Didn't we determine that you didn't have the best lockpicking?
This door does have like a bolt latch that you can just undo to open this. It is locked from the other side.
Wait, from the
Or
other.
no. Uh, this is the side you control the lock. The other side is locked from entry. So apparently the base assumption was you would be trying to get here through this door and not through the collapsed archway of the room with all the embalming studio. That's what we'll call that room.
Well, no, Dee was too embarrassed to like admit that she didn't see that you could just open the door. She's just like, I want to take these, and then just like commits to putting them in Yoshi's back.
Yeah, she's gonna reach in there and reach directly into a scalpel.
Oh yeah, well
Oh, yes, sorry. I need to unlock that for you on Roll20, don't I?
yeah.
Sorry. Yes, one moment, please.
I'm gazing through a window. Don't mind me.
Excellent. Love that for you.
I see a plant.
Can you reach it?
And
No.
Yeji is gone.
Yeji sprints the entire other direction. No, she just wanted to peek through this window. There's some cool stuff over there.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I had to read up on something.
Sus.
Okay. Door should be unlocked for you now.
Yay. Lies.
Oh no. Maybe now. Still lies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now everybody hold on. Nope. Cole, go back.
Nope, bad. Hold on.
Nope. Stop. DM says pause. DM says pause.
I didn't do that.
You moved twice for me, sir. Pez, I know where you live. I've seen where you sleep.
You sleep heavier than me.
Fuck you, right? Alright, so. I need each of you to pick a number between 1 and 3.
3.
2.
They have to be different numbers, I guess.
Yes. No repeats.
Okay, so 1.
Oh, it's our marching order. That's cute.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't like that.
no.
It's perfectly average, though. No. Yes? No.
God damn, that's one of each one, isn't it?
Yeah, see.
Oh,
Okay, so
I like that one even less.
yeah.
those are in order corresponding with the order of numbers above. Add a 3 to the dice underneath your number from the D4, and tell me if that beats your AC.
Wait.
Wait, what?
Wait.
Okay, what's everybody's AC? Starting with whoever picked 2.
Oh, shit. 14.
Okay. 14 is, sorry, I just stared at numbers.
11 plus 3 is 14. It meets.
Yep.
I get it now.
Yes. So, tie goes to the player. Just remember that, Nemo. Whoever was 1 was Cole.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's not going to be an issue for you, considering that's 6. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
I
your AC
do
is better
beat
than
that.
6.
I do beat that.
4 is roll again, which is for Cole.
I wasn't the 4.
But for
4,
something had to hit someone twice.
yes, 4 meant roll again because there were 3 targets.
Oh. I mean, we have someone else in the room with us.
I
right
think
now.
that one maybe hits you.
I think a 17 hits Cole.
Yeah, do.
Okay, and then
But, like, Ron is right there.
yes, he is. That has been factored into this. You will see why.
Okay.
And then a Yejier. For you, that would be 15
Beats.
meets beats. Okay, so a Yejier and Nemo. You guys have this happen, but not in any way that is like effective or bothersome, because you have armor, and your armor is sufficient. Cole, I don't remember if you have armor or not, but if you do, your armor is not sufficient to stop. As soon as Nemo opens that door, one of the metal body cases standing vertically behind a Yejier has a set of doors in the chest of the container that pop open, and you just hear 4 puffs of really strong puffs of air. the mic probably won't pick it up. So imagine I'm just making a loud poofing sound, but just poof 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 poof.
Hey, we heard that.
Yeah. Um, and Ayezie and Nemo, you both feel something small hit you in the middle of your backs. Like the one that hits Nemo goes between Ayezie's arm and like her rib cage, whatever. It finds a space. The way this trap is set up, it just works. Trust me. We're gonna go with it.
Okay.
Cole, you feel a very small, very sudden, and very forceful puncture into like the you're 5 o'clock. If facing forward is high noon for you on a clock face, you get hit at your 5 o'clock. So just off of the spine by probably like 5 inches.
Right
Um,
in the kidney.
yeah, that. Thank you. Kidney-ish. Um, a small but very painful piercing, and as you instinctively like flinch and look, you have a dart sticking out of your back that was just launched out of this thing. And I need you to go ahead and make one more dice roll for me. I need you
One.
to make a con save.
Yep. No, that sounds about right. All right, big money, no whammies, no whammies.
Let's go.
Hey,
Hey.
Excellent. Good work. Constitution? It's pretty decent. He doesn't get sick too often, apparently.
he breathes in a lot of smoke. Yeah.
Uh, so have that rounded down is 4. You take 4 additional. I guess I didn't roll the other damage for you, did I? Heck.
No, you did not.
Damn. I'm a goober. I'm all out of it.
That's okay. In the meantime, this is the second time Cole has taken damage because of Nemo.
Okay, so Cole, you take 2 points of piercing damage from the dart, and even though you succeeded your con save, it doesn't necessarily kick in right away, but it doesn't take very long to realize that that dart was coated in some sort of poison. But it also doesn't linger super long, so it's probably degraded over however long this place has been here, because those were just kind of locked and loaded.
You can have a little poison as a treat.
That's a treat.
It's okay. We could just say that his higher body temperature burned the rest of it out.
Um, okay, now you guys can move around freely. A trap triggered, so I had to stop everything.
Yeah. I
um,
took 6 points of damage total.
yes, you did. Um, as soon as that happens, Ron bolts back and stands between Ayezie and as many of those vertical cases as possible, and he starts knocking them all over. Just without hesitation, just shoving them. And they look like they're decently heavy. I mean, they're made out of metal, but he he's pretty effectively trying to make sure nothing else shoots out of any of these, and nothing else does. So with loud
Well,
clangs and clatters as you guys are dealing with that, as Nemo and Ayezie, I can't talk. As Nemo and Ayezie are both like, "Hey, I think you got a little something back here. I'm just gonna get that for you. One sec." Like it's a stray hair on a white dress.
so Cole's gonna remove his dart. Thanks, team. And just kind of take a knee so he doesn't fall into the pit should he get lightheaded. And
I would. Go ahead.
oh, and then I'm just gonna. Would it be a medicine check to just kind of investigate the dart and like see if I could identify? Oh, this might be a fast-acting poison, or this smells familiar, or I got no heckin' idea.
Um, yeah, you could try medicine. I could see maybe if you're trying to identify like a poison, maybe a history to see if it's something you've like read about or encountered in any text you've ever seen or that somebody's taught you at some point in the past. I could see survival maybe, whatever you want to use. I just would default to saying probably medicine.
Yeah, medicine's probably my best one for this. And considering some of the people I know, I'd assume I'd be able to identify a few different poisons.
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
we're
That's a
we're
fair
gonna go with
assumption.
that. Oh,
Yeah.
that nope. That's
Roll a d4.
yeah,
You remember people told you to suck out the poison.
yeah. Well, was that for a dart, or was that for a snake, or was that from a darting snake?
um, in in the surprise and the panic that you realized you just got shot and injected with poison, absolutely out of nowhere, you you go and try and like mess with this and extract it from your back to see what sense you can make, but your hands are shaking really bad. You can't really get it, you have a hard time reaching around to actually get it out. And by the time you get a good enough grip to where you can, you have jostled this thing around and actually done a little bit of additional damage to yourself.
Oh no.
Was it?
You take 3 additional points of piercing damage.
Oof.
How you doing, buddy?
You know, Cole is he's like look. He probably looks like he's been beaten half to death.
Like, guys, did you hear that? Oh my god. Maybe I should give something back. Oh shit, Cole!
Yeah, he's kneeling on the ground. He's bleeding a bit more out of his back than he should be, and he is not feeling great.
Oh, I forgot to say, but I would assume at least the end result would be assumed. By the time you manage to get that dart out of you, it's covered in so much blood, there's no hope of tracing whatever was on it. It's so
Oh,
contaminated and diluted.
oh yeah. At this point, the dart just gets tossed on the ground, and Cole just kind of puts his hand on his back. Just
Do you want some help with that? Motions to the blood.
yeah, that would that'd be appreciated. I don't literally don't know what hit me.
She'll go ahead and walk over to him. She towers over him while he's on the ground, and she's just
Don't
gonna crack
make
an
this
egg
a
over his
power
head.
trip. Oh my gosh.
Thankfully, she doesn't have to lean over to do it because her arms are so long. She just like has egg in hand and just like gently crushes it onto his skull. It's a hollow egg. Don't worry. One of these
No,
times
but
it's not gonna be, and it's gonna be very
but
funny.
you definitely twisted in.
Well, see, the nice thing about it is when you've seen before when she uses at least a similar sort of spell with her egg, after a little bit, the fragments of the shell kind of just disintegrated, and that's what happens here too. So rubbing something in, it won't be there in a couple seconds. You'll be good.
Okay.
You get 8 points of health. Not my best roll, but
That
better than.
that that does wonders. Uh, at this point, Cole feels a lot better. His back is pretty much just scabbed over.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. It's like from the outside, that wound appears perfectly healed and closed. There's not even so much as a scar. The inside is still a tiny bit tender to the touch, just from the poison having gotten deeper into the tissue, but mechanically it does nothing, and the ache will fade pretty quick.
He pats him on the head.
Thanks. I needed that.
He forewent her bully Cole free action for a tender moment with Cole free action.
Oh,
Don't get used to it.
I don't think he likes positive attention.
Look at Cole. He's covered in blood now. You embarrassed him so much.
I've been patting his shoulder and complimenting him this entire time, and I get nothing from him. I don't think he likes positive.
Well, we have seen the sort of celebrity he crushes over. Tall, strong, female.
Yeah, I think he likes.
Could
I
kick
think he
my
maybe likes.
ass.
I think he likes negative attention.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
Also, I was within 10 feet of Cole, so if he started falling in the hole, I did have it in my head to try to grab him.
You are
Excellent.
so sweet. That is so nice.
I can't say it wouldn't have been by the tail. Don't be too happy.
Well, you're trying, and that's what I appreciate about you.
I suppose that's a fair point. I don't know if that's a piece of lore I ever mentioned for Cole and Nemo, but it is worth mentioning. Thank you, Pez. As tieflings, even to your most hated enemy that's also a tiefling,
You don't grab the tail.
you don't grab the tail and you don't grab or pull, even if they're unconscious or dead, you don't pull them by the horns. That's just fucking no. That's a thing. Um, some people will go for tails for a tail pull in combat. They are the most hated enemy among all tieflings.
Pretty fighting.
Yeah,
I
that
was
is
gonna
that is
say,
considered throwing sand in someone's eyes, levels of dirty.
even their teammates are like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, like that is a huge fucking no-no. So, just wanted to make that clear since I don't think I'd ever said that to you guys as players,
No, I
in case it
appreciate
comes up
that
again.
call out.
But yeah, after the trap triggers, you guys have a moment to holy shit, collect yourselves and figure out what you're going to do next. But we'll have to figure out what you do next week.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Excellent. Yeah. But thanks for playing tonight, everybody. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. I'm glad you guys managed, even though you took the back way to get through some of these places. I appreciate that you came back and triggered at least one trap in this dungeon.
Yay!
Ulf, did you have anything you wanted to tell off stream on Discord?
Yes.
Because we usually hop off as soon as you turn back to stream.
Yes. But yes, Cole and Nemo, if you guys wouldn't mind hanging out in Discord for a couple minutes, I will wrap up the stream, and then I'll come back.
Sounds
One of
good.
us is dead.
Maybe.
One
Oh
of
no.
us.
Been dead all along.
Oh no.
What is this, Sixth Sense?
But yeah, I will be back. You guys entertain yourselves until then. Thanks. All right. Thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. We definitely got into some of the more fun aspects of a dungeon crawl. We got traps, we got weird loot, we got pools of blood, and deep dark pits full of bones. I mean, what's not to love? This is D&D, right? Fun fact, I've only actually done like 2 proper dungeon crawls like this before, ever, in Evard, in almost 7 or 8 years of DMing in this world, which is all the DMing I've ever done. So it's fun for me to do this because it's a very different change of pace. So I hope it's been entertaining for you guys to see this as it's going along. There's been a pretty good amount of silliness and also stuff learned. I'm interested to see what they come up with for some of the other quirks of this place when we get there next week. But as far as I know, same time, same place next week. If that's not the case, I'll let you know in the Discord, which we do have a Discord in case anybody here doesn't know or forgot, or if anybody that isn't following watches this as a VOD. We have a Discord. You can hop in if you like. Um, all the streamer social media plugs. We have a YouTube channel. That's where all of these VODs are stored permanently. There's a playlist of just Yvardsaga sessions in order, so you can catch up on anything you missed. It's easy to find. Yeah, that's all the necessary stuff. besides that, I hope everybody stays warm and safe during the the weather. At least here in the Midwest, it's a blizzard going on and affecting different parts of the same state at weird times relative to each other. Um, so yeah, just take care, be safe, stay warm. Maybe go make a snow angel or something if that's your speed, or bundle up, drink some tea if that's more your speed too. It all counts for wellness in Millie's watching. So I had a ton of fun, and I appreciate chat. You guys letting me know how things are sounding. That helps me a bunch. And most of this stuff I shouldn't have to actually touch and tweak again, unless something is wrong, like in the VOD, which I doubt. So yeah, thanks again, guys. Hopefully we will see you next week. Hoban might grace us yet again with an appearance. Maybe. Will we get a closing cat cam? Hi, buddy. You want to come get a pet? You do. Closing cat cam. We did it. Mission accomplished, everybody. We got him. Not very much, but we got him. Still counts. Yeah. But everybody take care. We'll see you next week. Love you guys. There will be more to follow.